Resuming debate, the honourable member for Saskatoon West.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, and it is a privilege to be able to rise here today and talk about a very important bill, Bill C26, a very important issue, and that is the security of people in Canada when they retire. And I guess just a few introductory comments, and I want to just note that I do echo the comments of my colleague from Vancouver East who arrived here in this House as a brand new Member of Parliament, looking forward to a new spirit of collaboration and cooperation. Our hopes were very high that things would be different, so I do want to register my disappointment around the government's choice to move forward with time allocation. I am on this particular issue. I am disappointed about that, and I share that disappointment with the colleagues on my side, who, unlike me, will be unable to share their points of view and share their comments with our colleagues here today. So, as I said, I'm honored to be speaking about Bill C26, and of course this bill is going to amend the Canada Pension Plan Act and to incorporate recent agreements we've had that the government's been able to reach with the provinces to be able to actually enhance the Canada Pension Plan. And I think a couple of comments very quickly, although the effect of the changes will not be felt for many years, for 49 years. This enhancement is a very important first step in improving retirement for young Canadians. And I do want to acknowledge and offer my congratulations to the many citizen groups, in particular unions that have really been fighting long and hard and laid the important groundwork so that I believe we were able to get to an agreement on these enhancements. Of course, when this is fully implemented many years from now, but still important, the CPP will replace 33% of pre-retirement income, which is up from its current 25%. Democrats have long and hard worked for improvements to many aspects of our social safety net, including the Canada Pension Plan, including fighting for better old age security and increasing guaranteed income supplement benefits. And as I mentioned in some of my questions while we've been debating Bill C26, retirement security for many Canadians is reaching a crisis level, and it really has been increasing and made worse, I believe, under some of the policies of the previous government that really saw the crisis come to a head, with many people not being able to look towards a retirement. A golden retirement, as often people used to be able to say, is not really going to be there. And a large part of that problem is that 6 in 10 working Canadians no longer have a workplace pension. And I'm going to do what a lot of people don't do usually, but I'm going to reveal my age. I am 53 years old, and my dad would have been one of the first, I think, a group of workers who worked for a very large multinational corporation. He had a workplace pension, and during closer to the end of his tenure in his workplace, during a large corporate takeover, he lost that defined benefit pension plan. And so my parents, along with many others, have had to look forward to retirement, but as my colleague on the opposite side said just in his previous comments, have had to take on a lot more risk when it comes to pensions, more risks than his parents had and many before him. And of course, younger generations are looking forward to even a more precarious, not only work environment, but a precarious retirement, one that may not be able to provide them with the things they need to be able to have a safe and healthy retirement. So during the election, the Liberals promised to enhance CPP, and we're glad to see that is coming forward. I guess a couple of comments I have, and I do want to acknowledge my colleague from Hamilton Mountain, who, as any good MP, did some digging and some studying up on this bill as it was coming forward for us to speak about, and he found some flaws with it. And in particular, which I thought this government would be very eager to hear about and very quick to fix, which is one of the reasons we want to continue to debate this, is because we would like to actually hear a response from the government that they do plan to fix this. Just saying that going to committee somehow that will make everything better does not reassure me. It does not reassure people in my constituency, in particular women and those living with disability. If their retirement is going to be as secure as they thought it was, and of course what I'm talking about is that the changes that have been made to enhance the Canada Pension Plan will actually not afford women and those with a disability the same increases. And although we know that this was brought in under a previous Prime Minister, the previous Prime Minister, Pierre Elliott Trudeau, it was not included in this particular enhancement to the Canada Pension Plan. And I know members on this side and my colleagues have been asking over and over and over again, both in question period and in debate, have been asking this government to tell us if this was a mistake, are they going to fix it? Or if it wasn't a mistake, why is it not included? And of course, if it was not a mistake, then some of their claims about really being sincere about addressing some of the inequities and issues, particularly when it comes to retirement for those two groups of people who will be most vulnerable, those living on some type of disability, CPP, and women who have chosen to, or the primary caregivers of children have had to leave the workforce and therefore have had to were not contributing to their Canada Pension Plan, and therefore from what we can see and what we know and from the research from my colleague, these folks are not going to see the increase as others have. So, you know, one reason to continue a debate, I understand the government has just recently, within a month, done some great work and brought our provinces together and got agreements. But sometimes in your haste, you might overlook things. And I guess what I'm saying is this is one aspect I hope they just overlooked, and I hope they are going to try to fix, because it's extremely important to me. My riding of Saskatoon West, when I was campaigning to be the Member of Parliament, one of the key issues in my riding was income, was the affordability. And for seniors, it was being able to afford housing. And if they were lucky enough to be able to scrape together and be able to afford housing, they weren't able to afford medication. So retirement income, particularly for women and those who have lived on a more limited income because of a disability, is extremely important to me. And so I rise today to speak about this and to draw this to the government's attention again, that it would be nice to hear definitively from the government that they do plan to not allow this inequity to move forward, that they do plan to fix it, and not just ask us to say, you know, everything will be all right, we'll talk about it in committee, just get going with this, keep talking, or don't keep talking, I guess, so that we can actually address it. So I guess my final comment is I feel honored to be able to stand up and speak about this issue. I want to congratulate my colleague for bringing forward these two key pieces of inequity in this legislation. And thank you, Mr. Speaker, for the time to share my comments.